We all know how strong Iruma and the Misfit class has gotten recently, but there's a student in Babyls who reigns supreme over everyone else. That's right, it's time to talk about the future demon queen herself, Azazel Ameri. The first thing that comes to mind when discussing how strong Ameri is of course her brute strength. As you can assume by simply looking at her, Ameri has strength that matches her height. By the way, she's 190 centimeters and Iruma is only 158. Just proves that he's a true short king. By the way, if this is your first time watching a video of mine, please subscribe as I cover Iruma pretty consistently and other isekai in general. Anyway, Ameri's been shown to be able to destroy stone walls with ease just to send a message. And as seen in her fight with the panther rat, even before using her bloodline magic, she can still deal some serious damage. She's so strong that Opera actually trusts her to have their back in the fight, which is a huge statement. Opera is on the same level as Kalego, and is Sullivan's right hand. They're easily one of the strongest characters in the series, and yet they trust Ameri to have their back in a major situation like this. Ameri simply being the student council president shows her capabilities, and even Iruma himself sees her as the goalpost he needs to reach. Most of Iruma's huge moments are witnessed by Ameri, and he said multiple times how he wants to catch up to her. The most recent was in chapter 271, after Iruma fought the teachers and played a huge role in the Misfits' victory in the Heartbreaker arc, and yet still knew he wasn't on their level, but swears to reach her one day. Ameri acknowledges how much Iruma's grown and the fact that he's only one rank away from her, but she never said she'd wait for him a rank Vav. By the way, it might be a little bit desensitized to how much ranks mean in the demon world, since pretty much everyone in the Misfit class is rank 4 and Iruma's rank 5 in his first year. But don't get it twisted, her being rank 5 in her second year is absolutely huge and unprecedented. And the same thing goes for the fact that she was elected student council president as a second year. But as stated by the nobles when she and Iruma danced together, they are both the two biggest stars in the demon world. Ameri informs Iruma that she hasn't stopped training to climb up to rank Zion, which is equivalent to a teacher of Babyls. So when we saw her fight in the Water Theme Park, that's nowhere near the level that she's at now. Now, as I said, her becoming student council president in her second year is crazy, but she lives up to that title. As she's not just strong in brute strength, but her mastery over many types of magic is awe-inspiring. As shown against the Panther Rat, she can use non-verbal magic, which the Misfit class has only recently started to learn in their second year. And we can assume that she didn't get the special treatment they did in her class, since remember that they hold huge value now. So they're actually getting, well, hate to say it, favoritism, as Kalego set up a whole training program for them, and her use of verbal magic is certainly to a higher level given Opera's reaction. Ameri used non-verbal magic to increase her speed, making her insanely fast, so along with her raw power, she has the speed to match. To further prove Ameri's speed, in the Everdell game, she blew away the competition with ease while running cutely with her hands curled up, meaning that she wasn't even running at full speed, and she still destroyed the competition, winning the race in seconds before anyone else could even move. Ameri being in this competition was basically a cheat code, as everything she competed in, she won like it was nothing. Ameri is so broken that Kuruma had to tell her to stop competing, as she would have just won everything. Imagine being so strong that your own teammate is stopping you from competing in competitions because you just steamroll everyone. So what did she compete in exactly? Well, the cliff climbing race, where she easily climbed with everyone, then a battle of arm strength, which she obviously won, throwing the giant ball out of the entire stadium, and finally she easily won the hunting competition while everyone looked on completely stunned. And speaking of hunting, the primary moment that shows how far beyond everyone Ameri is was the Harvest Festival. Her score was 59,000. This score is outrageous, as Balam, you know, one of the strongest teachers in Babyls, with his knowledge on magical beasts and plants, could only muster 55,000, and she broke the record by simply beating the hell out of any magical beast that came near her. To put this feat into perspective, Iruma and Lead got 60,000 points, barely beating her score, and they didn't get the score through power, but through completing puzzles to get the legendary leaf. The only person who actually did spend the entire time fighting was Sabro, who actually collapsed from exhaustion after gaining 45,500 points. And he's the physically strongest in the Misfit class, but he couldn't come close to Ameri. And looking at how the manga stated it, she did not collapse from exhaustion, but simply kept annihilating everything in her path until the time was over. Now, you may think this makes her a muscle brain simpleton, but that is not the case, as being elected student council president doesn't only come down to power, but intelligence and proficiency in doing tasks. She's so talented that the entire student council staff, along with Iruma, were exhausted from covering her side of the work after her brainwashing. Ameri was also able to decipher Iruma's true identity as a human extremely quickly, and is almost certainly top of her class, so her intelligence is very high. Ameri is always propped up as being an ideal demon in the manga. Number 1, she has the absurd power that most demons could only dream of despite being of such a young age. Number 2, she has the most stunning wings we've ever seen in the series, symbolizing her nobility and beauty. And number 3, Ameri has ideals that run deeper than anyone else's, with even Iruma finding himself enamored with her because of them. Plus, she was the one to actually inspire Iruma to go up in ranks and think for himself for the first time in his life. Due to her desires, Ameri has an iron will. This makes her able to conquer almost anything in her way, and even with the power of mind control, she was able to blow past it. This brings us on to Ameri's most important ability, her bloodline magic. Being the daughter of Azazel Henri, she was blessed with one of the most powerful bloodlines in the entire series, known as Romanticist, King of Delusions. The Azazel bloodline magic works by multiplying the user's strength to its maximum potential, by believing in their own power. This is almost like Deku from My Hero Academia. In the fight against Muscular, his body surpassed all of its limits because of historical strength, which pushed his body past the ordinary max limit of 80% to its full 100%. Ameri's bloodline magic actually works in a similar way, but her body is impressive enough to handle the backlash, with minimal after effects unlike Deku, whose arms were permanently damaged, and she can activate this ability at will, which is just crazy. It has no limits, and remember when I said Ameri has an iron will? This makes her bloodline magic truly shine, as she was the one to deal with the Panther Rat once she unleashed her full power. Romanticist isn't simply a buff to physical attacks either, as seemingly nothing affected her. When she was in the zone, anything thrown at Ameri literally had no effect. Not even poison could do anything to her. This is important as it actually makes her a demon without weakness. Like, think if she came up against a demon who had unique magic, who could possibly use that against her. The chances are, if she was in this state, then it wouldn't even affect her and she could just blow past it with her brute strength. This is proven by the fact that Opera saw her potential, wanting to train her to become stronger. This is huge, as Opera rarely shows any interest or excitement, but after seeing Ameri's true power, they couldn't help but get giddy. And the way Romanticist works isn't just like you activate it and you're suddenly like a Super Saiyan, it's actually based on self-suggestion, which explains why she's immune to poison. If she simply believes she's unstoppable, or girls in love are totally invincible, that means she can't be affected by anything. This makes it the ultimate self-suggestion spell. And yet, because of this factor, this magic does have the downside of possibly being a double-edged sword that could even hurt the user if they are scared in front of the opponents they face, but Ameri does not have this weakness. Speaking of her father, he showed the level Romanticist can reach in the Daviculum arc, and not just the level of Romanticist, but the level Ameri could reach in the future. The next generation always surpasses the previous in manga, and in the Daviculum, Azazel Henri showed that he has a reaction time that's faster than the 3 greats. He moved on pure instinct due to experience dealing with criminals, and was the one to stop the traitorous 13th crown, Behemoth. Henri used Romanticist immediately to strike him down, and restrained Behemoth's mouth, which was the source of his power, in less than 13 seconds. And he seemingly didn't have the negative after effects from using his bloodline magic. Unlike Ameri, who suffered tremendous pain throughout her body, but he seemed fine. This proves that her bloodline magic can reach an insane level. Obviously, it was already confirmed in the manga that bloodline magics improve the more you train them, which means that through her training that she's admitted she's been going through, who knows what level she's going to be at. And if there's a time skip like I predicted in this video on screen, bro, she's gonna be insane. Anyway, back to Azazel Henri, he's on the level of the 13 crowns, and he actually has attributes that exceed them in some ways, but Ameri is going to be the one to surpass him, and as we all know, she's going to marry the future Demon King himself, Suzuki Iruma. So Ameri's power has to be close to his in the future, and as I explained in my very first Iruma video, he's going to be a complete monster. But with him and Ameri leading the demon world with their strength, they will be the greatest power couple in manga history. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to click the video on screen right now. I've actually been really enjoying making videos at the moment, and I'm planning to make a lot more. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.